Now, 7 years ago, 33-year-old Nicola Turley was diagnosed with breast cancer after she found a lump in her left breast. After a tough 6 months, including a mastectomy and a reconstruction, Nicola bounced back. Since then, she's given birth to her second child, Jack, and even started her own business.
Nicola and her oncologist, Professor Arnie Hill, the chairman of Breast Cancer Ireland, join us now to share her story of life beyond breast cancer. You're both very welcome this morning. Arnie, and most especially Nicola. Nicola, do you mind if we, before we talk about now and how well you're doing, go back to then, because you were incredibly young to be diagnosed with breast cancer. You found a little lump when you were putting on some body lotion one day.
That's right, yeah, just putting on body lotion one morning and found a lump. Immediately, kind of, I suppose I was alerted to, you know, well, we'd almost 1-year-old little girl, Emily, at the time, and I hadn't breastfed. I wasn't, you know, so I was thinking, okay, it wasn't anything to do with that. So I, just thought this isn't right, shouldn't be there, so immediately went to the doctor. And from there was, you know, referred to Professor Hill, and subsequent tests discovered that it was.
And had you been breast aware up to that? Or did you think, oh, well, look, it's not something I need to worry about at my age?
Honestly, probably thought it wasn't something I needed to worry about because of my age, and there was no family history, which I suppose is probably something that a message I would like to get out there. People think, especially if you're young, well, if there's no family history, it couldn't be breast cancer. And
you were fit and healthy, like you were ticking all the kind of protect yourself against cancer boxes.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was a bolt out of the blue, you know, completely left field. And while we were just, you know, getting on with our lives, having got married and had our little girl, and everything was rosy, you just kind of brought back down
rug
with
is
a
pulled
bang.
from under you.
Yeah.
What options were you given when it came to how to deal with your type of cancer?
Well, we went through all of the options with both Professor Hill and the plastic surgeon. There was a number of options available to me: lumpectomy, mastectomy, and then the various reconstruction options. And a number of them suited me. I chose the DF flap reconstruction purely because I just felt it suited me. I could do it. I didn't need to have any implants or anything like that. And the whole surgery could be done in one. All of that appealed to me. You know, just let's get it over and done with altogether.
It's a big surgery, though.
Huge.
10, 12 hours?
Yeah, it was in and around that.
And the recovery period for you?
I was in hospital for about 10, 11 days afterwards, which was pretty tough, having a little 1-year-old at home. That was the hardest part.
I'd say that was incredibly tough.
Yeah.
How quickly from diagnosis were you getting reconstruction and the radical mastectomy?
I was 6 weeks, but that was...
That's very quick to get your head around it.
Yeah.
Or was it helpful that it was that quick?
It helped me, having time to get my head around it, having time to, I suppose, understand it. I spoke to a number of people who had been through it, and it gave me a chance to get my head around the options. Now, I mean, every diagnosis is different. Mine was very specific to me in that I had that time. You know, some people are in the next day, and I was allowed that time to do that. And I think mentally that helped me at that time.
Can I bring in Professor Hill? You're very welcome, sir. Actually, only last week we were talking to the guys in the Mater, Rob Caulfield, about Bra Day, and one of the things that struck all of us was that we become very breast aware, and we know that it's a problem. People need to check themselves and all the rest of it. But in terms of a diagnosis, the options for women afterwards, and very few of the girls in the office knew that there was an option to have, you know, breast reconstruction done as part of the treatments.
Well, it is available now, and every woman who requires a mastectomy can be offered to have an immediate reconstruction. And there are different types, and it's not for every woman. It's really a personal choice. For some people, it's very helpful to get them through their diagnosis, and for others, they actually choose to say, well, look, that's not for me right now. I might do it at a delayed interval. So it's a very personal choice, and there are many factors that come into it. But the important thing is that it's available.
But previously, you know, the oncologist would deal with the cancers and that treatment, and then the reconstruction would be dealt with by plastic surgeons. Are there enough multidisciplinary and integrated teams now?
Yes, I think in each of the 8 cancer centres, there's a very effective reconstructive service available. I think the most advanced type of reconstruction is the one that Nicola had, was known as a DF reconstruction.
Would you explain that, Arnie, for people at home?
So what it is, where basically it takes the extra fat that might be in your tummy and use that to reconstruct the breast. It's a very delicate operation. You're dealing with fine blood vessels, and you transpose the tissue from the tummy up to the breast to form the new breast. It's not for everybody. It takes certainly a longer period of time. It's an extra number of hours to the operation, but it really is
but it is natural.
best.
You're not introducing an implant or...
Yeah, and it looks very good and feels very good.
Does it help mentally when you're leaving hospital, having had a breast removed, but also having had your breast replaced in a way?
Yeah, it does. Well, for me it did,
Yeah.
you know, and like Arnie said, it's all a personal choice, and this was a very personal choice for me. You know, I could have went for a lumpectomy, but I was happy to have the mastectomy. And given this option, you know, it meant leaving hospital, and lucky for me, leaving hospital, that was it. I was finished.
And since then you've had a little boy,
Yes.
little Jack.
Little Jack.
How old is Jack now?
The lad. He is 3.5, and Emily just turned 8. So yeah, they're great.
And you set up your own business too?
I did, yeah. I've taken a bit of time out now again in the last year. Well, mainly since I had Jack, I just kind of put a bit of perspective on everything, I think, and I've been lucky enough to be able to make that choice. So we kind of sat down and talked about it, myself and Paul, and I've taken time out to be at home with the kids.
Now, from your perspective, when it comes to breast cancer, do you have to go in for checks, or is that it? You do?
Yeah,
Okay,
I do. It's 7 years this weekend since my surgery. So each year is obviously, you know, another kind of tick, which is fantastic. So I'm now on a yearly checkup, which is great. When it moves from 6 months, it's like real progress, you know.
Just very quickly, because we're caught for time, Arnie, I want to ask you, we've come a long, long way in terms of detection rates and treatment, etc. You know, we've done a lot. There's a lot more to do. Where are the areas we need to improve?
Well, certainly the most recent advances are in the areas of chemotherapy and drug therapy. Firstly, we're giving less chemotherapy because we're giving it to those who really need it, and that's based on the biology of the tumour. We're only giving chemotherapy where it's absolutely necessary and makes a difference. But the type of drugs we have available to us now are improving. So we're really in a stage where previously, where this was in many cases a fatal disease, we're turning it into a chronic illness. We're not quite there, but the progress over the last 10 years has really been substantial. So I think the drug therapy for those where the disease has spread beyond the breast has been really effective in turning that into a chronic illness that people can learn to live with.
And of course, early detection is key.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, the thing is that, Nicola, if you hadn't had a pain when you were applying that lotion, and a lot of women who have potential breast cancer or cancerous cells don't necessarily feel any pain. So if you have any worries about it at all, straight to your doctor.
Yeah, I think that's the best advice, to see your GP if you have any symptoms.
And by the way, it's not just women. Men get breast cancer as well, you know.
One in 200, so for every 200 women, there's one man who gets breast cancer. It's rare, but it does happen.
And research, of course, is leading the way when it comes to saving people's lives. Nicola, I'm so glad you're doing so well.
Thank you.
That 7 years this weekend, you'll celebrate being cancer-free. So continued health to you. And Arnie, thank you as always. Now, as Nicola does prove, there are many breast cancer survivors in Ireland and across the world. And this week on Ireland AM, we are raising money to help fight the cause together. You at home can get involved by hugging a friend or a loved one and posting the picture on Facebook or Twitter using the hashtags #BeatItTogether or #IrelandAMBCI. You can also make a €4 donation to Breast Cancer Ireland by simply texting the word CURE to 50300. And to date, just in yesterday alone, they raised over €5,000. So thank you to everyone out there. But we need more money to push research even further and to save more lives.